Hello racers, it's Bill Little, your wing DPH. Well, it's springtime. Many of us are getting a lot more time at home right now, which means a great opportunity to take advantage of some spring cleaning. Sometimes the best way to get started means going through all your old stuff and donating or throwing items away or figuring out how to repurpose things. Simplifying our lives by removing unneeded clutter. You know, over the years we collect lots of things that we like. We use them for a while, maybe a season or two, and then we stash them in drawers or put them in closets. We just tuck them away for use later, or maybe never again. So as we start our spring cleaning, it's a good idea to dig into those dark recesses and start to examine what we've been hiding away. We want to see if it still fits us, if it still fits our personality, if it's still usable, or if it's still appropriate. Those items that are no longer useful should be discarded or purged. We simplify our lives by getting rid of things that no longer serve a purpose. By purging things that don't add value to our lives, we open ourselves up to new things. Many of you have seen the television show about hoarders. And these are people who have a legitimate mental health issue. They are compelled to collect and collect items until they eventually become overwhelmed with all the stuff that they've crammed into their living space. A person who hoards feels compelled to collect, but they lack the ability to purge or throw things away. So, okay, I am talking about cleaning your physical space and simplifying your life by discarding physical items, but I'm also talking about taking stock of those old emotions and deciding that it may be time to throw some of those out as well. I'd like to introduce you to a term known as emotional hoarding. You know, we're all guilty of carrying around emotions that are the byproduct of trauma or negative experiences from our past. Whether it's from losing a loved one, or a divorce in the family, or losing a job, or some other traumatic event. As human beings, we create emotional reactions when we are tested by strife and conflict. Oftentimes the emotions that we establish in response to traumatic events, they linger long after the trauma has passed. A good example of an emotional reaction might be anger or frustration towards another person who we feel has wronged us. And sometimes that takes the form of a grudge. Those feelings are valid. We believe that we deserve to be angry and hurt and indignant and bitter, and maybe even sometimes we want revenge. These emotions, if we let them, they may permeate into our everyday life and poison our emotional well-being by stealing our joy. It's very possible to hold a grudge for a long time after someone has wronged us or hurt us in some way. These negative emotions may have served a purpose at one time, just to help us get through that situation, but currently they're causing disruption in our interactions with others. They're causing disruptions with our important relationships at home or at work or with friends. There comes a time to take stock of what we're carrying around emotionally and whether or not these emotions still serve a purpose, whether they fit, whether they're still appropriate. So just like that sweater from 1987, it was good when we had it, but maybe it's no longer useful. So here's the good news. It's actually possible to recognize that these out of place or out of date emotions are no longer useful and begin to phase them out. It's time to check those emotions. Yes, you were hurt, but step back and honestly evaluate if your anger, justified and understandable, whether it's helping or hurting you. How important is it for you to hold on to that anger or hold on to that grudge? Just like when cleaning out our closet, we need to make some piles so we know where to place these things. So we have a keep pile. These are good emotions. These are the emotions that we determine are useful, and these should always go in the keep pile. These emotions are like forgiveness and understanding and empathy. They're going to help us overcome some of these other emotions that we want to get rid of. Now we've got a donate pile. These are emotions that we can use to change for the better. So you'll see that these as fuel to become a better person, and soon these emotions will help get rid of these other emotions. These are emotions like passion and perseverance or enthusiasm. And then we have our discard pile. And this is where the really hard work begins. This is where you're going to find that emotions like forgiveness help. And we give ownership of the hurt back to the people who have hurt us, and we have to let that go completely. The vast majority of your negative emotions belong in this pile. So once you've evaluated an emotion, you can start the work of embracing the keep pile, recycling the donate pile, and turning a negative into a positive and getting rid of everything in the discard pile. So don't expect a miracle overnight. The donate and the discard piles may be the hardest to work through, but don't get discouraged. Every time you feel one of these emotions surface, recognize it for what it is: out of date, no longer needed, no longer useful, no longer appropriate, and it doesn't fit you anymore. Then you own it, you choose where it belongs. If you'd like more information about emotional hoarding, or if you'd like to discuss some thoughts about this or any other topic, come see me or reach out through email, phone, or text. My information will be at the bottom of the screen. Racers, thank you.